Hello, Mike
Hello.
from TechCrunch, Mike Butcher from TechCrunch. I'm talking to Chris Kowalczyk from Hard Gamma, but you wear a number of hats. You're an investor, an entrepreneur, you've started companies, you're back in Poland now investing, and you also work with Hack Forward, don't you?
Yeah, I'm one of the referrers.
So Hack Forward, the sort of pan-European
new incubator program.
Incubator.
Yeah.
So what's your perspective then? Let's talk about that. Obviously, I can only spend so much time in Poland. I'm based in London, but you're obviously here on the ground. What's your feeling? Because you obviously travel as well. So where do you think that Poland fits into the startup ecosystem in Europe?
I think, unfortunately, we're in kind of silos. So there are very few startups which wish to go abroad, even on European level. So we have lots of startups being here, developed in Poland, but there are very few which want to go abroad, especially to US. I think because of the size of the country, we're kind of stuck in the middle. We are big enough to sustain a viable business, but we are not big enough to be a base for a global venture in terms of revenues coming from the home country.
Yeah. Sarah Lacey from TechCrunch did a post recently saying that actually smaller countries often have an advantage because they just don't have a home.
That's the case of Estonia.
They don't have a home market, so they have to go international.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think this is the same in the UK in the sense that the UK market is so big that you know, you don't necessarily need to go international.
Yeah, but you're lucky in a way because you're an English-speaking country.
Yeah,
so basically, with a home version, you're targeting US as well from the day first.
You can just about just change a few spellings and off you go.
Yeah. And this is another issue which Polish startups often forget. They have only Polish version. They even don't bother with translating their service into English just for the sake of being visible.
Yes, there's a bit. I think I wouldn't necessarily say that's something just that the Polish startups are doing. I would say Italian, Spanish, you know, German, etc. often don't have an English version, so therefore, as you say, don't necessarily reach a wider international audience. It depends on the product, of course.
Yeah. And today, during your speech, you mentioned Twitter as a key mechanism for reaching global audience.
Yeah.
We are unfortunately in the position that we have Polish version of Twitter. So Polish startups concentrate on the blip.
Yeah.
Polish startups concentrate on Polish service, and they forget about visibility which they can gain through Twitter. There are very few good examples. One of them is Applicate from Krakow, a startup which created Future Simple product, and right now they're raising money in US. Yeah. And I was surprised, positively surprised, to see all crew of Applicate last week at another internet conference in Poland tweeting, not blipping. So they basically were tweeting from Polish conference to global audience because that's their strategy, and this is the role model which should be followed.
I think you're right. Twitter has almost become a sort of de facto network through which European startups, journalists, VCs can find each other. And I think it's been incredibly powerful, more than LinkedIn or Facebook.
Definitely.
There's a phrase, isn't there, that Twitter is Facebook's the people you used to know, and Twitter's the people you want to know. But Chris, tell us more about the funding side of things, because you know a bit more about the seed funding situation. What's the seed funding situation like? What's the angel situation like in Poland?
We don't have many angels, especially we don't have the super angels group. I hope it will be created over coming years. On the other hand, we have lots of money on the market because there is National Capital Fund, which tries to recreate the case of Israel by investing in VC funds. So this is the fund of funds, and the goal is to create around 100 VC funds, small funds, over coming years. So if I'm calculating correctly, over coming 5 years, there's at least 300,000 euro per day available for early stage startups in Poland, just because of the VCs which get funded by National Capital Fund and another government fund. It means that money is there. There are no startups, or almost no startups. We had this competition here during e-nnovation conference. We got 150 submissions, but I would say only around 25 of them were really worth looking at, and it's not much. I think that over coming year we have to work on kind of education, because
Yeah.
it will basically broaden the market.
You mentioned Applicake, who
Yeah.
are in Krakow, and they also do a lot of Ruby on Rails developments
Exactly.
as well. There's a lot of Ruby on Rails developments in Krakow. Do you think that, tell me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of great engineers and Ruby developers and whatever developers in Poland, but not so many product people? Is that correct or not?
That's correct, and on the other hand, you see a lot of Polish engineers on the international level. You don't see Polish startups, especially in the Valley. There are lots of Russian startups, there are no Polish startups. And this is the case of Krakow. In Krakow you have R&Ds of US entities, of US startups, and actually in most cities of Poland there are groups of engineers working for foreign startups,
Yeah.
but there are no Polish startups, and
Yeah.
I think this is the right conclusion. We should invest more in the product and marketing side.
Yeah.
So we have engineers which have great technologies, but they don't have any products.
Yeah, don't have, they don't, and they're not necessarily learning the business skills that some of the other
Exactly.
startups are doing. So what about Warsaw, though? I mean, Warsaw's big cultural financial centre,
Yeah.
obviously, and the capital.
Yeah, and we have Warsaw University, one of the best technical universities in the world if you look at top coder results. Yeah.
And I mean, the interesting thing that happened in the Valley was places like Stanford managed to connect very much with the commercial sector. Do you think the universities could do more in Poland?
Definitely. I think we are more European here than the US universities are, obviously. So business tends to do business with business, and universities are again closed silos.
So what's your view going forward? Do you see that there are other people like you in Poland who want to move things forward and create more bridges? Do you get to London much, for instance, and create those connections between?
We try to build it.
London VCs.
I
And
think that
investors?
examples of Polish startups which went to seed companies like Ateli, Shuku, Codility are exactly those bridges. Ateli is doing great right now, Codility is doing great right now. I'm trying to encourage people to go to South by South next year.
South by Southwest.
South by Southwest Interactive, in order to create another bridge. I encourage people to, after getting the funding, or even after having the idea for the startup, I'm encouraging them to buy a ticket to Silicon Valley and go to one of the pitch nights there to verify their ideas, because this is exactly what they should do. They should tap into the biggest market, the epicenter of startup ecosystem, in order to verify their ideas, even if they would come back to Poland then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chris, it's great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. See you again.
Nice to see you again.
See you some other time.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
exactly.
Cheers.
Cheers.